The calmlands. Many summoners used to cross these plains, their hearts heavy with the weight of their pilgrimage. I was no different, but the calmlands we knew have changed.
Ooh, I love these games!
I have 100 Argent credits.
Well, I have 100 open air credits.
Open air what?
Well?
Alright, there we go. This is pretty much good enough. Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Welcome to the Calmlands. So today, what we're going to be doing is finishing off the last few places we need to travel to in the airship before finally going to the Zanarkand ruins and progressing the timeline of the world. So there's a fair few things for us to talk about here at the Calmlands first of all. There's that fantastic cutscene which I kind of cut the last episode with, talking about the fact that now the Calmlands is a giant touristy kind of cool location with a variety of things to do. If you remember back in the last game, we could travel around the Calmlands on Chocobo back, but you can't at the moment here in this game. Kind of sad. So how would we cross over here? Well, before we could just jump across on a Chocobo, turns out because Yuna is freaking awesome, she can just jump with a bit of a run-up, so you find her do an awful lot of things like this. I wonder where she gets the energy from. Sadly, in this game, I did mention this on the previous series, Remiem Temple, an old place where we got some optional content in the previous game, isn't available in Final Fantasy X-2. We will never go there. These rocks have fallen down, barring our passage. I found myself, therefore, immensely curious as to what could possibly be going on there, but I guess we'll never know. And you might also find that now we're on this plateau here. Because there's no chocobos, how can you get down? On my test file, I actually got stuck. I couldn't figure out where the hell I needed to go. But it's pretty simple, and I'll show you guys the way. In the Calmlands, actually, we're obviously in a fight right now. There aren't that many random encounters. Mostly, and I'm not really explaining this to you guys yet, the idea is because of so much more heavy use of Machina, most places are more fiend-free than they ever were before. There are some areas of the Calmlands where you will find random encounters, like here. The main reason I'm coming this way, by the way, is because there should be a chest nearby. There it is. But also the vast majority, if you're not on the outskirts, you tend to be okay, and you won't find random encounters at all. Here's a Chocobo. He'll probably run away. He's actually staying in the battle a lot longer than I was expecting. There you go. We'll try not to kill him. There's all sorts to talk about with him so far, but yeah, though they are wild here, apparently we can't ride any of them. Let's go grab this chest. So there were a few things I wanted to talk to you guys about, just based on previous episodes, getting involved with the comments, seeing what you guys think. One thing I didn't point out that's actually kind of awesome is the garment grids. Okay, this is our default one called First Steps, but other garment grids we acquire do have images in the background. See there? There's an image. That looks to me like maybe it's the Jose High Road. And some of them have certainly been very interesting. So the Ice Queen here was the first one I got multiple comments about. If you step back and look at it, you'll notice that that's Shiva. That's Shiva, her faith trapped in the statue there. And you'll find a lot of references to different things in the game and the series in general, I suppose. I'm not going to mention all of them. Maybe there'll be something specific every now and then, like those. Actually, throughout Chapter 1, that Ice Queen garment grid we've got, which by equipping allows us to absorb ice element, we go through gates and we can start inflicting ice damage, stuff like that. In Chapter 1, you can actually get a grid for each element. So there's an Ice Queen one, there's a Fire one, there's a Water one, and so forth. The Water one's the last one you get. I'm pretty sure they'll all depict Aeons, but I don't know what the Water one depicts, so that'll be kind of interesting. Another thing many of us were talking about was the idea of the random Japanese voice acting that was thrown in on one of the battles we had in a previous episode. Yeah, it's stupid and weird. The one thing I never really pointed out with it, though, is the Japanese dialogue you're hearing there is spoken by the English voice actors. So yes, that means when they made the international version of 10.2, they hired the English people to come back and do like an imitation at Japanese, which I suppose actually sounds pretty good. It's all based on the fact that the reason they're called international versions in the first place is though they released in Japan, they used a lot of the English voice acting, like it was like an extra bit of flair or whatever to the games, and a big difference if you're a member of the Japanese audience. So I guess they sort of just slapped that in there. Kind of weird. It didn't break my immersion too much, but I can understand when people say it is pretty immersion breaking. And otherwise, I don't know, there was some other stuff I was going to mention. I did just get back from watching the Final Fantasy 15 gameplay trailer that they released. I don't know, I don't want to be one of the haters, guys. I really don't want to be a hater, but it looks really hack and slashy to me. I don't know, do you guys get the same feeling? And all the communities I'm a part of that are really, like, enjoying Final Fantasy games, they're all, you know, super optimistic about it. I never really played much Kingdom Hearts at all. And I don't know, people say that the combat's great and that this game is based off of the Kingdom Hearts combat, but it scares me. I don't know. It does, I must be honest. Anyway, so the Calmlands, we saw, of course, that there seem to be a bunch of games here. You'll notice off in the distance, now, by the way, we're in a no encounter zone. It doesn't matter how much we run around, we'll never get... Wow, really? That's crazy to me. Why have we got an encounter here? Maybe the rates are just crazy low. Certainly on my test file, I never had an encounter for a long time. You notice many of the fiends are dying here. Regardless, you'll see there's some hovers off in the background. In various areas of the Calmland are a bunch of mini-games you can play to exchange for fabulous prizes. This is one of those areas that are, if you just want to do the main story, you never actually have to come here as a part of the game. You never have to come. But if you start doing the side quest stuff, you'll notice that there's a lot more going on. But basically, the goal is we can spend our gil, of which we've got quite a lot, to buy credits. So imagine like you're going to an arcade IRL, right? You buy like tickets, and then you can spend those tickets on gambling at the various games. At the start, there are only 3 games here in the Calmlands. I'm going to show you guys one of those in a second, and as the LP progresses, we'll check out some other ones. But there are 2 companies in charge of these games, and as we support those companies, they will grow. We'll get access to better prizes, and more games, in fact, will start to arrive here. So first, let's, I guess, I'm stood here not really doing anything, just talking to you guys. First, we've just got a shop, okay? This lady doesn't really sell anything interesting at all. Iron Bangle for health plus 20%. You'll notice on the right-hand side, it tells you if you already have these accessories. So equipped means one of your girls is already using it, and stock means you've just got one in your inventory somewhere. So this means we have no Iron Bangles because there's 2 zeros. But if we buy it, there you go, we get 1 in stock. So that's one way to play X2. You can just make sure you got 1 of every accessory. If you ever see a 0, you just buy it. You just buy it. You just buy it. It does mean sometimes you'll open a chest and find something that you already bought, but whatever. I don't need to be very frugal with my gold, my gil right now. This dude here is a part of a cool little side quest I'll talk about in a second. But first, let's go over to that hover over there in the distance and speak to one of these 2 ladies. Now, as we saw, Pain has Argent credits, and Riku has open air. See, we didn't get any encounters the whole way here. So we get to choose which of these 2 companies do we like more. Really, it's just a name. I always sort of go with open air. I don't know. It seems more free and easy and happy-go-lucky. Argent seems like big money, serious corporation stuff. Ultimately, the difference between the company you pick is kind of marginal, but they both offer different rewards. So let's talk to this girl on the left, and she's the open air representative. So she says, "Welcome to Open Air Inc. Feel like trying your luck at the Sky slots?" So we could play the Sky slots, that's what we'll do. Don't forget, Riku's already got 100 of these credits, so we don't have to spend any gil at the moment. And you'll see we get to choose a level for the game. Level 1 is the only one we have available right now, because these companies are quite small. As we help the companies grow, we can increase our level, and then that makes the mini-games more difficult, more interesting, and so forth. Anyway, so just level 1, and if you play at level 1, it's very low stakes. It means that each ticket you buy costs just 1 credit, okay? So here we go. So here you can see we've got the Sky slots. The camera will keep moving around here. And basically the idea is this is just a slot machine. I've taken us to the most basic one, but it's a slot machine played with fiends, and fiends don't often like to get along with what you want them to do. So we press X to stop them, and the idea is just try and get 3 in a row. You can place a bet. I'm going to put a bet in of 5 credits here, as you can see, which is the bet limit at level 1. That will change, obviously, as we make it better. And let's go. So we want to pick something to choose. I always go with the Simurgs, which are the really rare birds from Jose back in the first game. These ones here. So we've got one, and now the second one, you want to figure out when you want to line it up. Depending on the fiend you choose, will change the payout rate. So these guys have a payout rate of 50, so it will times your credits by 50 for winning. Pretty cool. So where is the next bird? Well, he's there, and I just saw he appears after a blue bird, but then that blue bird just passed, and he didn't appear after it. So it's after every second blue bird that we want to try it. Okay, so get ready. First blue bird, second blue bird there, press X. There we go. Now that fiend, now we only need 1 more to go, and we'll try again. So there's the Simurg, he appeared after a wasp, and it looks like the 4th wasp. 1, 2, 3, 4, that one there. Oh, we got it! Jackpot! I can't believe it! I'd never managed to do that on my test file. What? Wait, so we got the jackpot. We won 50 times 5 tickets, so we won 250 credits. Wow, we just over doubled what Riku had. This is the point where if you're at Vegas, you stop gambling. Wow, that's amazing. I really wasn't expecting that. Let's bet again. I'll show you guys why I wasn't expecting it. Let's try again this time. So we'll grab this guy. And then we'll grab this guy. Ah, and he flew past, but you guys heard. I'll rewind it if I have to. I pressed X. See, the fiends are uncompromising. They will do whatever the hell they want. And there's a huge variety of things that can happen here. But I guess we're done for now. So that's one aspect, okay? You get to play the games. As I say, there's 3 games right now. You can bet on the dogs, basically, and I can't remember what the other game is. We'll have a look at it soon. But let's have a look at some of the other things. So we could play sky slots. We can see the rules of the game, which I've just explained to you guys, so we don't need to see that. We can buy more credits. So you buy credits with Gil and then use the credits to play the games. Or you can trade in your credits. So we just won a bunch. And this is the prizes we have available right now. We have 340 credits. And we could get a potion, Phoenix down, budget grenade, high potion, or last of all, a charm bangle. The charm bangle is only an open air reward. The Argent rewards are different. I'll show you them in a second. Charm bangle is a really cool bit of gear in this game, and this is the earliest point you can acquire it. You will get it for free later during story stuff, but this is no encounters gear. Yeah, you heard that right. You can get no encounters pretty early in FFX2, and I think that's a really strong decision from the devs to let you go for this if you want as an option, because it does make a lot of things less of a pain. I'm actually going to go for it, but as you can see, we don't quite have enough credits. So instead, what I'm going to do is just flat out buy a bunch of credits. So one credit costs 10 gil. So, and what do we need? 200? So we want to spend, what, 2,000 gil? And oh, that will give us 2,000 credits. Wow, no, hang on a second. So we just want to buy... Oh, no, we're just saying how many credits we want to buy. I'm an idiot. Okay, we'll just buy 300 credits. There we go. Yay. So now we'll trade in our credits. So you could do it like this. You could just treat it like a money sink, or you could get good at the games. It's funny, the dogs, when you go betting on those, and I'll show you guys, as I say, later. It's so complicated. It's like real world betting. Like, you can place a bet, a double bet. Everyone's got different ratios and payouts. It's huge. It's insane. Like, they really do teach you a full-on gambling system that you can try and figure out. It's mental. Anyway, so there you go. That's open air. Let's go have a look at Argent. Wow, really? We just got a friggin' battle. And it's one of the spheromorphs. I'm going to escape. You guys can... So, I mean, what we could try and do here is kill it. It would just take a long time, though. So, for example, if you try and do normal damage to it... Oh, okay. You'll see it's just very, very resistant. We could try using some of Yuna's more interesting stuff there. That's a pretty dangerous attack that just did a lot of damage, so we'll have Riku throw a potion. We need to figure out what element he is right now, but he's just using physical attack. So, let's just gamble, shall we? We'll use an Ice Brand on him. And here, Yuna, so because she's got all her abilities, we could maybe use Table Turner, which deals greater damage to enemies with high defense. This guy's clearly an enemy with high defense.
This is the part where you get hurt.
There you go, she did 170 damage. So we'll use Ice Brand. Didn't really do very much. We'll try Thunder. Wow, okay, so this is why I don't want to fight him, because he puts us to 1 health and then does that. Not all enemies are designed to be fought straight away. This is why that garment grid I talked to you guys about that gives you an insanely powerful ability if you never escape. It's actually a pretty interesting idea, because the game is totally designed such that you want to escape from certain things. It's like a valid tactic. Anyway, she says, forget your worries with the imitable? What's that word? I've never heard that word before. We're proud to offer the sky slots for your delight. Actually, I thought the other company did this, but whatever. Anyway, check out the trading credits. It's an ether on these guys. That doesn't mean that open air are always better than Argent. Ultimately, at the end of the game, there are unique accessories you can get from one or the other, and each one has a special garment grid too. One of them offers like loads of statistical damage, the other one's got like raw power on it. But yeah, so that's not all, right? Let's go back to open air, because these are the guys I want to help. Let's say, because these guys had the charm bangle for us, I like them a bit more. I like Riku more than Pain. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like I like Pain more than Riku, but I would associate myself with people like Riku more than Pain. Because she'd just be more fun to be around? I don't know. Anyway, so check it out. Our next option is to ride the hover. And by doing this, we can spend credits, it costs 10, to go wherever we like. So Reptile Run, the Lupine Dash, or the various exits to the Calmlands. As more games open up, there'll be more locations. So let's just go, I guess, to Reptile Run. There is a hidden thing in this game too, where if you ride the hover 10 times total, they'll give you a key item, which is a discount pass. Pretty cool, and it allows you to ride it for cheaper. But I'm not going to bother getting that right now. I don't really need it that much. So you can ride the hover. And lastly, we've got this one here called Publicity Menu. This is a really crappy label for what it is, but it's the start of a big mini game. So, it says open air publicity campaign. This is where you choose. Do you want to sign up for open air or Argent? I'm going to go with open air, but you'll notice here also it says publicity campaign. Let's choose it. So it says you can help out our campaign by using Square to talk to people who might be interested in having fun at open air's attractions. Spread the word to enough people and you'll start to see changes around here. A portion of the credits you lose while playing any of our attractions will count towards your publicity rating. So, you won't have much luck publicising us to the same person multiple times in a row. If they don't fall for your first line, take a break and come back later. Given a little time, they may be willing to hear you out again. So, sign me up, absolutely. She says, thanks, this is great. With you helping us out, we're sure to win. Now that you're signed up, just use Square to publicise us all over Spira. So you can ask how we're doing now that we're signed up, and you'll see we are at publicity level 1. Do you remember how when we played the Sky Slots a second ago, it said, hey, you have level 1 available? It's the same thing, right? So as we advertise this company, it will increase in level. Increasing in level changes prizes, adds more games, and ultimately is what you need to do to get episode completes here. The main way you help the company out is by advertising it to people around Spira. Now, as she just said, a very small portion of their proceeds do go to it as well. So, in theory, because I've got tons of gil, I could buy ungodly amounts of credits and then just waste it all on Reptile Run or go gambling and make terrible bets. And in a very slow way, that would help them get more publicity. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do the advertising route, which is what the developers wanted you to do. So, I'll demonstrate that to you guys. Let's go back. Let's ride the hover now. Back to the travel agency, and I'll be able to demonstrate this to you guys now just as we explore the world. Whenever we find NPCs, a large portion of the NPCs in the game you can all be advertised to just by pressing Square. We'll try this lady at the shop. No, that doesn't work, but we'll see that. So that's pretty cool. That's number 1 thing to check out in the Calmlands in chapter 1. Not really very much, it's just see what's going on. And this is number 2. This guy stood over here, who really has nothing to do with either these companies or the games, by the way. So he says, hey there, pretty lady. You wants to marry my son? And his sons always look like a woman to me, but apparently no, this is not a woman. That's him, through to my loins. He's what you call a homebody. Makes it mighty hard to find a wife. Wow, so he's not a real man. So how's about it? Wants to get hitched? I'm turning him a little bit into a hypello. So we can say no, I don't, or do I ever? Hell yeah. That's crazy talk. You can't be jumping into a life-altering decision without mulling it over. I'm mighty grateful, but I won't hear of it. There is one thing you could do for me, though. Would you mind going out and helping me find a wife for my son? It ought to be simple enough work. All you got to do is travel around Spira and tell womenfolk about my son. We got a deal? Alright, so you can say, tell me more. It says, there goes the bride. Approach the people you meet in your travels and press Square to talk to them. Depending on what you tell them, their interest in the hapless bachelor will change. Sweet talk your way into their hearts. Alright, so this is a very similar thing to when we're advertising for the companies. We can also press Square at lovely ladies and see if they're interested in getting hitched. So sure, why not? Well, tan my hide and call me a shoe puff. I knew it couldn't hurt none to ask. Now get out there and do me proud. Alright, Mr. Hick, he says, just keep at it. Mrs. just right round the corner. So now, basically you have the whole game now to do this. You can't actually interact with this guy. He's very, very shy, as you would see. You have the whole game to do this. Just speak to women and say, hey, do you fancy checking out this guy? There's various pickup lines you can give women. They'll respond positively or negatively. And as the story progresses, as time moves forward, let's say I try and hit on a woman and she's like, wow, no, you creep, go away. You can come back maybe a little bit later, a couple of weeks later once times move forward, and you can try again, just like with the publicity campaign, okay? They're both things, basically, you can do in this game by pressing Square at people. And this is sort of like the replacement in Final Fantasy X-2 for scouting for blitzballers in the first game. Do you remember in 10 we could press Square at people to get their scout information? Very similar here, you know, it's just an extra way of interacting with NPCs. It's quite enjoyable. I like that it's there, obviously. Blitzball, again, does exist in this game, but the mechanics of much of the way Blitzball works is now different too, so you don't scout in the same way either. Anyway, here's another hover. What I'm going to do at this one is... Actually, do we want to? I was going to say... never mind. I was going to say we could go to the far side exit towards Gagazette here, and we'll check out what's going on over there. But what about the Monster Arena? So... 2 years ago, what was the biggest attraction here? It was the goddamn Monster Arena. Again, I like the idea that if you were going to do a prequel story, that this was when the Monster Arena was once at its height. And, you know, Braska, Oron, and Jekt maybe go here at some point. Maybe Jekt at first doesn't want to be on the pilgrimage. And he ends up just trying to make it to Zanarkand on his own. Gets lost in the Calmlands. Ends up at the Monster Arena. Where Braska and Oron, you know, recover him. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, this was the biggest attraction. We even did all that work in the side quest in the previous game to give this guy all of his business back. So let's see what's going on there. Hopefully there's some cool games we can play. Hopefully business is bustling. Maybe he owns Open Air or Argent. Let's head on in. Unlike Remium, like this seems like it could be a lot like Remium, right? They just barrier it off and you wouldn't be able to go there. But no, you can. Oh. And nobody's here. Weird. So you'll notice that we're at the Calmlands Facility Ruins. And the old man was once stood right here. And now there's an empty door. I loved this when I first played the game. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say, like, you're limited where you can go. And, like, they tease you with the entrance to some cool-looking dungeon in the previous game. And in this game, the way is open. Turns out the Monster Arena dude is disappeared. Who knows where he went, why he went there. He's just gone. This crazy thing on the side is still here. But as we walk slowly closer, it says something about this feels wrong. You'd better not go in just yet. Pretty lame excuse as to why you can't do something, but yeah, there's something there. We can't seem to do anything. It does say just yet, though. So, we'll remember this place, and we will come back later. Certainly something interesting there, and one of my favourite expansions to the Calmlands. You'd be very hard-pressed to guess exactly how that story unfolds, and which returning character from the previous game it is that triggers all of that stuff. But yeah. Alright, so anyway, that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you guys in the Calmlands. We are open air on this playthrough. If I wanted to change to Argent, I can do that at any point. But the cost is the company I was originally publicizing loses half of their, like, points, okay? So if you do loads of work for open air, and then just shy of, like, maxing out their rank, you decide, okay, I'm going to go to Argent now. You half your progress. So try not to do that. You can max one and then go and max the other. So it's not like a full-on branching decision you can never go back to. It's a bit more free and easy than that. So, of course, Gagazette is right near here, the mountain that we started this game on, though we were very high up, not at the base. Gagazette being the home of the Ronso and supposedly Kimari. But before we head there, I just want to come down here as well, because, of course, this is still the Calmlands, and show a hint of something that will happen a little bit further on in the timeline. There is no reason to come here at all. It's interesting to me that there's so much stuff in this LP I can show you that you don't have to do, and then skip that you do have to do, but it still gives people like a comprehensive view of the game. Anyway, check it out. So there's a bunch of people stood here. Chest for collecting. They say, long ago, the Crusaders trained down in this very gorge. Ah, yes, I remember. They were training just 2 years ago. Surely their desire to topple sin kept them totally focused on their training. Sure. Wow, I thought you had 3 lines of dialogue. Okay, yes, very interesting. There's a bunch of people over here. Ah, look, the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. That was just a fiend-infested cave, right, though, so who would want to go in there? This woman says, I wonder what kind of attraction they're planning now. Looks exciting. Oh, I don't know. That was a pretty dangerous area, right? Whatever it is, I want to be the first to see it. That's why I'm already lining up. It's like when you go to, like, a theme park and they're going to open a new roller coaster. They're not even done setting up yet, and people have already started to trickle in. Ooh, This guy, I guess, is a dude. We're not done with our inspection, so I'm afraid I can't let you inside. And that guy shoos us away. So yeah, kind of interesting. You can even walk all the way up here. This is one of the sad areas of X-2, in my opinion. I can't remember anything that really happens here in the entire game. There's no reason to walk up here. Even in the previous game, the only reason to come up here was to collect the rusty sword, right, for like some of the end game stuff. So useless. But there is a kid hidden here who says, doesn't it feel good to slip into a nice, cozy place? Sure, this is my spot. I'm not giving it up. Oh, I'm sure we've all been there. The one thing I really regret as an adult is that I can't, like, hide in... I remember, like, playing hide and seek around the house and literally being lifted up and hiding on top of, like, a wardrobe, and it would be a perfect hiding space. I can do that now. I've got a wardrobe right next to me. I'm almost taller than the wardrobe. Oh, sadness. Alright, so anyway, there you go. That's the Calmlands. Let's head up into Gagazette. Also, I was planning to do this at the start of this video. I am going to change my classes in just a second, I promise you guys. Should have done it already. There was actually something we could have done in the Calmlands that I forgot about until just now. I'm reading my notes and I'm like, damn it. But it's okay, it's not a big deal.
The Ronso still live here, on Mount Gagazette. Kimari is their elder now, and he's working hard to unite his people. Still, it seems much quieter here than it used to be. Maybe because summoners no longer come here to climb the sacred mountain.
They always call it the Sacred Mountain. I don't know why. Sacred shouldn't always be there. It's a descriptor, not a full title that has to be used every time.
Kimari!
Yuna look well. Kimari glad.
How you been, Kamari? What's it like being an elder?
Elder's job difficult. Kimari troubled.
Whoa, what's up, dude?
Elder, Lian and Aid not here. Children have left mountain, gone to search for Elder's horn.
What's going on?
Lian and Aid still pups, but bear Ronso future. Say they search for a way to fix Kimari's broken horn.
If Kimari act like true Elder, these things not happen.
Maybe so.
Kimari?
High Summoner Yuna, it is Garrick's honor.
Nice to meet you.
Look at how big he is compared to her. Look at that.
Garrick know Yuna saved Spira, but Ronso not saved yet.
Alright, so there is a big thing that happens in this game to do with the Ronso. If you think about both the Ronso and the Guado, these two like non-human races, they're both set back massively. The Guado because everyone hates them, they're persecuted, you know, deservedly or not. They are dying out and they're being oppressed. Who is oppressing them though, mostly? The Ronso. Why are the Ronso doing this? Because under the command of Seymour Guado, or even towards the end of the game, just Seymour Guado, many Ronso were killed. Like, most of them have been killed. So they're on the back foot too, but they're angry. And so there's going to be this big conflict between these two races that we can either interfere with or just let it play out. By coming to Gagazette during this chapter, you get a little bit of percent completion, but you also get to talk to the Ronso and influence how they think and feel, namely about you. So, how do we respond to this? He says, yeah, Spira's saved, but the Ronso aren't. We can say, well, that's a really nice horn, and dodge the subject. We can say, we'll take care of Lian and Aid. Or we can say, try and be nice to Kimari. Now, this guy seemed like he was a bit of a dick to Kimari there. Didn't really respect him as an elder. One thing I will throw out there as well, they tell us that Kimari is the elder. What happened to Maester Kelk Ronso? I guess he was old. Maybe he died in the last 2 years. I can't really remember if he has any part to play in this game at all. So yeah, we get to choose. What do we want to do? Now, there is a side quest here, and you can miss out on stuff starting right now if you choose the wrong answers. Basically, if you choose all the perfect stuff whenever talking to the Ronso, you get a perfect happy ending at the end. And that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do. Just be warned, every time the Ronso ask for your input, there is an answer they will like, there is an answer they will dislike, and there is an answer they will be neutral to. You want them to like you as much as possible, so to get ready to kiss some blue ass here, okay, right? That's a really nice horn. He's indifferent. If you tell him to try and be nice to Kimari, though you might be right in saying that, he's not going to like you so much from that. So there's an invisible number, basically, right? If we say, we'll take care of Lian and Aid, we get +1. If we say, that's a really nice horn, we get 0. And if we get try and be nice to Kimari, we get -1. So always be careful. We're going to say, we'll take care of Lian and Aid.
Huh?
And very often, there's not like a ding sound. There's nothing that will let you know, hey, I did really well there. He'll just grunt or they'll move on, okay? Some of them are more receptive to conversation, but you have to be cautious. Let's talk to Kimari again.
Kimari worried about Lian and Aid, but Kimari cannot leave mountain. If Yuna find Lian and Aid, bring them back to Gagazette.
So yeah, children Guado. I mean, I think we saw some of them as character models in the previous game. None of them ever talked or had anything significant going on. Pretty interesting that in this game, apparently there are some children we gotta look for. We'll see if we can keep our eye out. Certainly we've explored a lot of Spira at this point and not found any. Let's talk to Kimari again, though.
Yuna?
Is everything okay?
Kimari troubled. Ronso youth grow horns of hatred for Guado.
Now, in addition to everything I just told you guys a second ago, there is also this one situation right now with Kimari where he asks for your advice. He asks for it. And you get to, throughout these options, have you discussed it with everyone? You have to learn how to deal with these things, or why not forget about it for now? And choosing the right answer here has got nothing to do with that other stuff I was just talking about, but instead will unlock a special class for you later on in the game. So you want to get this right just for that class. If you get this wrong, then you can still get the class through other means. It's just this is the easiest way to do it. So what do you guys think is the right answer here? Why not forget about it? That seems kind of iffy, right? It's like shunting it to the side, and that's not what a good leader would do. You have to learn how to deal with these things. That seems a bit aggressive, right? Have you discussed it with everyone? That seems kind of pragmatic. So I, as a human being, would pick the top one. However, this is not the correct answer. This is brutally unforgiving. X-2 was only made to sell video game guides. The correct option is number 2. You have to learn how to deal with these things. Don't look to us. Find strength in yourself.
Yuna. Kimahri's sorry. Whining make Kimahri small.
Cheer up, Kimahri.
And I really don't like that line. That when you say that you're whining, or when you openly admit that you like have a low opinion of yourself, you lower other people's opinions of you far more. Like, you shouldn't have said that, Kimahri. You look small now. You didn't a second ago. All right, whatever.
Yuna. Kimahri saw.
Cheer up.
Okay, and now he's just going to repeat that dialogue. So, what do we want to do from here? Really, there's very little to do on Mount Gagazette. You remember this whole walk up here, this entire long mountain trail? This place up here, actually, I'm not going to go all the way over there, has nothing. There are enemies to fight. You can do the whole walk if you like, but there's no chests appear there. Not now, not ever. It's still there in the game, but there's no reason for you as Yuna to go there. And that may be why I struggled so much before playing this game to record for you guys. I struggled so much having any memories of being Yuna on Mount Gagazette, and it's because there's no reason to go there. It's an option for you, you just don't have to do it. This lady pacing around here says, build monument to Ronso glory. First must choose subject. Ah! Do you remember last game where they said that they were going to build a statue in Yuna's honor? Someone want to get around to that? So yeah, we'll check out this lady here now. And basically, by speaking to the Ronso, you can offer your input. She says, must ask Kai summon Yuna. Find Leon and aid. Well, how do we respond to this? Leave it to the goings, agree? Please help Kimahri, or I can't promise anything. I can't promise anything seems a bit dickish. Please help Kimahri. Seems like it's within good intentions, but also makes Kimahri look kind of weak, right? Or we can just respond to what she asked, leave it to the goings, and in fact, this is the correct answer. She says, thank you. So we'll work our way around here. This woman here says, Guado leave, Guado salam, Guado plan dark schemes. Now here's where things get a bit more interesting. Ultimately, we don't want these people to be angry with Guado anymore, right? So we could say you're just making that up. We could say and be kind of indifferent. But we're kissing their asses right now, okay? We want them to like us. So the answer here is I'm sure you're right, okay? Put your own opinions on hold. Just give them lip service. Yes, Guado dark and shifty. It is Guado way. All right, cool. This dude wandering around says, many Ronso lost lives in battle to defend High Summoner Yuna. We could say, yes, many Ronso died. I will never forget their sacrifice. Well, what am I supposed to do it? Well, that one seems obviously not the right one. But what one should we pick here? I believe it's I will never forget their sacrifice. Yes, indeed it is. So kind of scary, you know, you could get it wrong. Thank you. Baran and Yankee rejoice now on the far plain. Hey, no worries. This dude here just appeared. Oh, right, yeah, I just skipped over something there too. Baran and Yankee, these were two big characters from the previous game. Bit dickish, but at the end of the day, you know, brothers almost to Kimahri. And they just established there that those two did die when Seymour Guado attacked. They're on the far plane. So this person says, many fiends and kin died 2 years ago. Ronso grief deeper than mountain snow. So we can say, buck up. You have to try not to be so sad. I can imagine how you must feel, or tough breaks, huh? It's I can imagine how you must feel. Ronso always remember those who are gone. This guy says, that's Garrick. He's being a douchebag to us, and we already did our options, so that's fine. This guy over here in the red says, never forgive Seymour. Never forgive Guado. So we can say hatred won't solve anything. I wouldn't forgive them either, or do what you want. Based on what I've told you, it should be pretty obvious that this is I wouldn't forgive them either. Yes, never forgive. Let me just check I talked to him. Yeah, I did. I already talked to you. Yeah, I talked to Kimahri. I talked to you. Who am I missing then? Am I missing anyone? Hold on, let me refer to my notes. Yeah, okay, so I think we're pretty much done there, guys. And now you might think you're done. There is one final middle finger to the players here as well. You would think these are all of the Ronso. There are none on the whole walk up, but if you go to the Faith Scar on the teleport pad, which is going to take us back into that cave, if you remember, where we did some missions before, you will actually find a final Ronso out here alone. There's no reason to come here aside from this Ronso. And he says, power of faith wane, cave water disappears, change will come to Ronso too. And we get our options. So we can say the cave and the Ronso aren't connected. A change for the better, I hope, or I see. And it is, of course, a change for the better, I hope. Ronso hopes this too. There is stuff sort of to do in this cave and around this cave, and there are changes that take advantage of the fact you can now jump, but that's not stuff we do in Chapter 1, that's stuff we do later. Here I will show you guys something interesting though. There's no reason to come specifically where I'm walking right now. There's no reason to come here in all of X2. So this old place where once we got a treasure chest, all of this stuff still remains explorable, but there's no reason to come here. This is where X2, in my opinion, feels the weakest and feels the most slapped together and just bizarre. Here you'll notice this is an area we used to swim in the previous game. And because there's no swimming in X2, they seem to have just removed the water here. It really is like we're looking behind the scenes here, like we shouldn't be here, like they should have blocked it off or something. But you can walk all the way over, there's no water, you can even come up here, go all the way to where this trial once was, and now it's just a black cave. And as I've explained, there's no reason to come here ever. Seems odd, and I don't know, maybe these are our first signs of development constraints on X2. As much as I appreciate we're in a weird space right now, where I'm like trying to convince you guys the game gets really good, I probably shouldn't show off weird shit like this. But, you know, I find it interesting, what can I say? It's very curious to me as well that this is like this here at Gagazette. And when we go to places like Luca, the Mihen High Road, it's very different. It's like they have littered, or like the Mihen High Road, for example. It's another long road, right? Just like we've got here. But there's a reason to go the whole way through. There are NPCs all over the place. There's little quips and missions and different things you can interact with, like kicking that ball in the previous game and chests to find. There's so much stuff. And then you look at Gagazette and there's none of it. And I wonder whether that's just because they deemed Mihen more important. I don't know. Anyway, as I say, there is stuff to show there. We'll get to that later. That's Gagazette done. I'm surprised we've been recording for 40 minutes, because frankly, what have we done? We've checked out the Calmlands, talked to, signed up for Argent. Oh, I could have been scouting these Ronso here, by the way. So if we press square on them, maybe one of them will become available. I've got to be honest, one thing that I am not, like, a wizard on, that I don't know everything in the game about, is, like, the, publicity campaign stuff. Like, for every single NPC you can press square on in the game, of which there's like hundreds, they all have like a specific answer that is perfect. So if you were like a complete mastermind at X2, you could know, right, this NPC that is stood here in Bevel likes to hear this line, and this will make him really want to go to the Calmlands. Or this woman on this bench really likes this pickup line. So, you know, like, you could remember all of that. Sadly, I have not. Anyway, here's Riku and Payne. Riku says, no wonder Kimahri seems troubled. He takes his duties so seriously. Well, he has to. Payne says, not every problem goes away with the coming of the calm. Sure. All right, well, so there we go. That's those two done. Let's progress on. And now we're going to go... Actually, do you know what, guys? I want to go to Kilika. Kilika is so cool in this game. And there's a great deal of change and depth there. So let's check it out. Kilika Island. No missions. 2 years after Sin's attack, the Youth League has rebuilt Kilika. Oh, the Youth League did. However, rumour has it that New Yevon is now stirring up trouble there. Oh, and we will definitely change our classes right now.
Can you guess where this is? It's Kilika Port. The Youth League helped rebuild it. Now it's a bustling town. At the time, everyone was grateful, but lately, well, there have been signs of trouble. It seems that tension is building between the Youth League and New Yevon.